I think we've got some good stuff waiting in fan fiction.
Yeah, actually, I have a historical fan fiction. should I just start reading this?
Let's get into the historical fan fiction.
Okay.
I just blew myself up, so now's a good time.
Okay, well, this one, like I said before, is written by Shakespeare Hemingway, famous author, and is titled Garfield, King of Liberty. Now, he wrote a quick note before the story. It says, I heard children of America were not educated in history, and I wrote this story for educational entertaining. I hope you are learning and having fun while reading this. So, yeah, I think this is be both an educational and entertaining experience for all of us.
Absolutely.
It was year 1770X, and Empire of England was spreading terror conquest.
1770X?
King George III was invading was invading lands of plunder for lasagna. With lasagna, King George III fueled robotic army of mechanical menace. America was last hope, and King George III was determined with determination to rule it for lasagna conquest and steal its precious lasagna resource. Founding Fathers and the Constitution were at the Constitutional Conventions discussing plans for last resistance. George Washington, you must fight for America freedom and lead us to victory, said the Constitution with orders. Do not be fooled.
I mean, we've got to keep in mind that this author is really trying hard to get kids to learn about history.
Listen, Phil, you can't teach someone if you're not also entertaining them, all right?
And Dr. Derp says, I don't understand American colonial history. Please explain in terms of Mega Man.
I'm sorry.
George, do not be fooled, Constitution. George Washington is not bad enough for responsibility, argued Thomas Jefferson with disagreements. He is right. I alone cannot fight the fight of freedom, George Washington cried with tears. I like that everyone does something with something else. You, insolence, if no one is man enough to fight for our freedom, America will fall, scolded the Constitution with anger. Fear not!
Scolded? Is the Constitution talking here? Is that what's happening?
The Constitution is talking, yes.
Okay.
The Constitution is not only talking, but is mocking George Washington for being too much of a wuss to defend America.
Well,
right?
That's historically accurate.
Don't Phil, I have good news. Fear not, for I have found the true man and warrior of freedom, Ben Franklin reassured with confidence.
Bleeding Heart says this was written by an Elcor. Yep.
What? Cried out everyone with surprise. It is true. Look with your heart and your eyes will believe, said Ben Franklin, pointing at a figure in the doorway. In doorway walked orange figure of amazing power, his muscles ripped with American pride and freedom. As he walked in, rockin' music played, and a giant American flag waved behind him. As he stepped, cawing eagles were heard. Garfield? Cried out everyone in shock.
This is fucking written by Dan Reichert.
This is right, you founding failures. Time to stop your tears and ready the fists of war, Garfield said with scolding words.
Oh, can you do it in a Bill Murray impersonation?
Oh, God, no. I can't even keep up talking right now.
My imagination, then.
Unknown Hombre says, God bless America and God bless Garfield.
But English armies are outnumbering us by many men, Thomas Jefferson anguished with despair.
Anguished with despair!
I am the Minuteman. I only need 1 minute for every man, said Garfield with incredible coolness. Very good. You are a real man. You are now 5-star general, commanded the Constitution. Very well. We must plan strategies. We will meet at Mount Vernon, Garfield ordered. Later on, at Mount Vernon, George Washington was making discussion with Martha Washington. As a woman, I hate...
Oh, making discussion. I gotcha.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Making discussion. You know.
That's a euphemism.
As a woman, I hate war. But we need...
Sorry.
As a cat, I'm totally fine with war.
Not not only totally fine, the best.
This is the greatest. As a woman, I hate war.
But we need to liberate our freedom, said Martha
Sorry,
Washington.
I need to tweet that before I forget about it.
Kavanaugh says, I am the Minuteman. Are you the timekeeper?
Wow. Not only is that what Martha Washington said, but as a woman, I hate war. We need to liberate our freedom, said Martha Washington with feminine instincts. It is true. I thought all hope was lost, but we have new ace in our holes, said George Washington with new confidence. That is a weird way to make discussion, with an ace in the hole. Is this the Garfield? Asked Martha Washington with wonder.
Is this the Garfield? Sorry, this is incredible.
He is a true miracle man. With him by our lead, we cannot lose, George Washington said with great respect for Garfield. Suddenly, there was manly knocking at the front door. There he is. Soon you will see for yourself, George Washington said as he went to the door for opening.
Pebbles 3663 said, as a woman, I find this all very displeasing.
Oh my god.
She anguished with despair.
As George Washington opened door, Garfield walked in with feet of patriotism. Garfield, it is good to be seeing you on this fine day. Do you care for tea? Asked George Washington with gracious offers. Enough nonsense. Tiny talk is for tiny men. Now is the time for action, Garfield said with stoic manhood. I am sorry, Garfield, forgive me. I am nothing compared to you, George Washington. Sorrow.
Also, why does that cat have so much stoic manhood?
It gets even better.
Who gave that cat all that manhood?
Do not cry, you woman, Garfield roared as he in the face stopped his girlish tears. Yes, you're right. There is no time for crying. Please come to War Room for strategies, George Washington said as he led Garfield to War Room. Wow, this next sentence.
The Calcutech says, Shakespeare Hemingway is the Shakespeare Hemingway of our generation.
Garfield came on War Room where Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Ben Franklin were also readying. In War Room, there was a table with strategies and figures of redcoat English and all American Eagle soldiers. Are those soldiers dressed in American Eagle? Or... Here, Garfield, come look. Please tell us your strategies, said John Adams with... Garfield stared at the table with knowing in his eyes. He then took mighty fist and smashed the table into pieces, crushing the redcoat figures. This is my strategy, roared Garfield with burning justice. All the room stood applauded Garfield's bold movements. You are courageousness, said Franklin with admiration of Garfield. I wish I was as much man as Garfield, thought George Washington in his thoughts. After meetings, Garfield walked out with George Washington. As Garfield walked with bravery, Martha Washington looked on and admired Garfield's rugged, handsome courage and toned body. Garfield, we owe you gratitude. Would you like anything for relaxation? Asked George Washington with humbleness. Give me real food for real man and real American. Give me lasagna. With hunger. You have it. Bring out all American lasagna at once, said George Washington with obedience to Garfield. At George Washington's request, red, white, and blue lasagna stuffed with cheese was brought out for Garfield's enjoyment. Leave me to my lasagna, commanded Garfield to George Washington. After George Washington left with obeying Garfield... What? After George Washington left with obeying, Garfield spent his time relaxing, eating lasagna-filled America. As Garfield enjoyed his lasagna, he heard sexy music and smelled perfume coming from the other room.
God.
What is that sex beat? Garfield wondered as he went for exploration. I think you know where this is going, Phil.
I can't wait to find out.
Let me tell you what happens next. Garfield went into room for seeing and saw Martha Washington on bed of roses and holding flower in her mouth. She was in sexy lingerie, which showed hot
Right.
body. There was sexy champagne there for drinking.
So I just want to clarify. The mission that I'm on right now in this game is ridiculously difficult, but also I can't really concentrate at all. So I apologize if anybody is actually watching the game, but like this is too hilarious. Keep going.
All right, let's see. Garfield, I am hoping you would come.
Sorry, Obi-Swan Kenobi in the chat room says it's almost Valentine's Day. Y'all better get your sex beat game right.
I cannot resist sexy scent of hot American woman, Garfield said slyly as he sat down on bed, picked up champagne bottle for opening. Garfield, when I see you, I have felt the feelings inside my body. I sweat with patriotic desire, said Martha Washington as she rubbed Garfield's back. No more worrying, my colonial cupcake. I will start a revolution in your body, Garfield said as he tore his shirt to reveal perfect manly muscles. Wow.
I will start a revolution in your body.
Take me now and show me your musket, said Martha Washington, taking off nightgown to reveal supple, sexy orbs. This gun, reloading, Garfield said, wink, as he undid pants and embraced Martha Washington for serious loving. They embraced and melded bodies for intense love shaking with passion and vigor. Come visit my Washington monument. It is free of charge, said Garfield with seduction as he thrust into Martha Washington's
Hemingway says, I'm feeling pretty revolutionary in my pants.
Garfield, you make me see fireworks, cried out Martha Washington with ecstasy. I am going to liberate your body with pleasure, Garfield said as he licked her all over. To me, my lover man, shouted Martha Washington as she felt Garfield firepower inside her base. Their lovings continued onto the night, and their shouting of ecstasy was being heard louder than the gunshots of war. I mean, it's really cold for poor George, man. He's getting screwed right now.
Yeah. But he's not a real man.
No. The next morning, Garfield and Martha Washington awoke in bed, in each other's arms, savoring moments. Garfield, you made me feel like a new woman. Must you fight? Can you not stay here with me, where we can create patriotic pleasure? Asked Martha Washington with longing. Sorry, sugar cubes, but I am warrior. Land of America needs my man muscle more than you, Garfield said with determination. Then, with suddenness, George Washington walked into the room to alert Garfield to happenings. Oh, he doesn't care at all that.
Yeah, I expected that.
Yeah, that's odd. Well, I mean, Garfield probably deserves it. Garfield, it is urgent. Redcoats are attacking Boston City, USA. George Washington said with panic. It is time, Garfield said, putting on manly fighting readiness.
This seems like a legit way to win this mission, so this is what I'm doing, guys.
Garfield, please be careful. If you are injured, my tears would scream with crying. Chill out, Pussy Boots. When I'm back, I will give you something to cry about, Garfield said coolly. What the fuck?
I'm starting to think that Shakespeare Hemingway has a real balanced view of women.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Oh, Garfield, swooned Martha Washington with swooning. Enough of silly chatting. Let us ride, said Garfield, boarded my shimmering stallion. Garfield and George Washington rode to Colonial Battlefield, where redcoats were marching with invasion.
That's my favorite battle of the Revolutionary War, the Colonial Battlefield. One Zone Grief points out this is 50 Shades of Garfield.
Oof, God. Just wait. We got way more coming. Invade America and take all their lasagna, ordered Redcoat Commander with wickedness. The liberty of lasagna will not be stolen by fiends, roared Garfield as he took out his Desert Eagle for firing. Garfield, cried out Redcoat soldiers with fear and despair. These colors do not run, and neither do these bullets, said Garfield as he rained storms armies. After Redcoat Army was defeated, Garfield approached Redcoat Commander, who was cowering with surrender. Garfield, I am defeated, but war has just begun. Soon American lasagna will be property of the king, declared Redcoat Commander with defiance. You went real quick from surrender to defiance. Real quick. I see you are liking the wearing of red. Let me make your face match your coat, quipped Garfield as he shot the Redcoat Commander's face with his Desert Eagle.
This Desert Eagle?
iTunes says this isn't even the hottest Garfield thing on Shakespeare Hemingway's page. Shakespeare Hemingway has written a lot of Garfield fanfic.
Getting into more. Good job, Garfield. You have fought back invasion, said George Washington with gratitude. In distance, figures came to Garfield. It was John Adams and Abigail Adams, ready to give Garfield congratulations for victory. Garfield, you are a true American hero. With your help, American lasagna will be free from imperialism. Thank Adams with heartfeltedness. No problem, but war is just beginning, Garfield said with steadfast strength. All the men talked of men's business. Abigail Adams eyed Garfield and could not stop her heart for desiring him.
Oh, God.
Abigail Adams noticed minor scratch on Garfield's large shoulder and knew what to do. Garfield, you are injured. Let me take good care of you, said Abigail Adams as she led Garfield to the nursing tent. It is about to... Wow. As they entered, Abigail Adams turned on her cassette player to Loverboy and told Garfield... You look tense. Let me rub you for relaxation, said Abigail Adams with whispering into Garfield's ear. That is good, but the muscle that really needs relaxing is down there, said Garfield to his pants. I see it is time for mouth massage, said Abigail Adams with lust. You have been naughty, girl. Time for some corporate punishing, Garfield said sexily as he put Abigail Adams on lap and spanked her. Garfield, spank me with meteor force, cried out Abigail Adams in ecstasy. Garfield spanked Abigail Adams with mighty hands, bringing her spanking pleasure of the highest quality. Meanwhile, in land of England, King George III was lounging in throne room of silk and swimming in gold and stolen lasagna, while King George III was lounging for reporting. Master.
Lord Seven in the chat room says highest quality spanking.
No, well, spanking pleasure.
Dustbuster says if Garfield begs King George, I will be so happy.
Master, I have bad news. Our invading soldiers have been defeated by force of might, cried the minion with cowering. What say you, you grub? Shouted King George with raging anger. It is true. Colonial forces have Garfield on their side, said Minion with crying. If this is the case, then it is time to step up the crank to 11, said George III with snarl. What will we do for battle plans? Asked Minion with wondering. It is time for full-scale invasion with my lasagna-powered mechanical monstrosities. Power up my airship.
They needed to get the lasagna from the U.S.
I would assume that he's using the stolen lasagna that he is currently swimming in to power it.
Gotcha.
I mean, it went all out here, Phil. Right? Sure. Power up my airship at once, ordered King George with finger pointing to this. I think King George is actually Kefka.
Perfect.
Yes, my master, responded Minion with obedience. Soon America will be my playground and its lasagna will be mine. Not even Garfield can stop me, cackled King George III with sinister evil. Meanwhile, back in America, Garfield and Adams were enjoying intimacies. Abigail Adams was exhausted with pleasure. Garfield could go on longer, but did not want to kill her with exhaustion. You play rough, and I like that, said Abigail Adams with satisfaction. I fight hard and play harder.
I mean, historically, that's true. Abigail Adams she liked it rough.
Holy shit! Harder, said Garfield with a wink as he sat back and smoked lasagna cigarette.
Lasagna cigarette! Man, if they made lasagna cigarettes, I'd start smoking.
Yep.
After a moment of relaxing, Abigail Adams got up to make morning cup of tea. Wow, it went all night, jeez. For her man, Garfield, and wanted making it to be just right. Isn't her man John Adams? I guess not anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
Now the Garfields came into town. How are you wanting your tea? Oh, jeez. Asked Abigail Adams with dutifulness. I like my tea like I like my women. Sweet and creamy. Abigail Adams the rear with flirting.
Dude McBrohan says Garfield's got the biggest dick, you guys.
Oh, Garfield, you know how to make me feel like lady, said Abigail Adams with blushing. All of a sudden, moments of romance were interrupted by emergency sirens.
What?
Time to earn my payment, Garfield said with clenching fist and loading Desert Eagles. Garfield, I know the destiny of the fighting man is to fight, but please be careful. I will pray for your safety, cried out Abigail Adams with sad acceptance. Garfield looked at Abigail Adams with chiseled face of stoic manliness and opened his mouth. Pray for my enemies, Garfield said with cool calmness as he walked off. Garfield traveled to White House, which was being attacked by... Jesus, he went from Mount Vernon to Boston to the White House. Let's see. Garfield traveled to White House, which is being attacked by a giant mechanical redcoat with laser musket. Feed. Demanded robot redcoat with mechanical voice. The only meal you will be served is Fist of Vengeance, served extra cold. Garfield roared as he plunged manly fist into robot redcoat's giant mechanical heart. Looks like this meal has given you heartburn, quipped Garfield as he crushed robot heart in his hand. Ah! Cried robot redcoat as it exploded into shrapnel and debris. Stood celebrating victories of battle, but soon he heard noises. It was English airships surrounding him. Their cannons were aimed at Garfield with accuracy of pins. Then, with wicked entrance, King George III rode on flagship. Ha ha, Garfield, behold the chariot of your death. It will be the last sight for you as you are dragged to hell. He really is Kefka. All hope had seemed lost, but all of a sudden, voice was heard by all.
Pebbles3663 says the worst part about this entire thing, at least one person in this stream is legitimately fapping to this story.
All of hope seemed lost, but all of a sudden, familiar voice was heard by all. Amako! It was John Arbuckle riding on Bald Eagle and carrying the
Holy shit.
For you, cried out John Arbuckle as he rung Liberty Bell, sending shockwaves everywhere, stunning redcoat armies. Thank you, John Arbuckle. Now the turn is mine, cried out Garfield as he lunged fist into sky with speed of soaring hawk, causing hurricane tornado to form, sending redcoat battleships to destruction, leaving only King George III. My fist is a Category 6, said Garfield as he looked on at destruction. Garfield turned to King George III, ready to make him pay for sins of his crimes. You are Kerr. I am King of England. Kneel before me, roared out King George III in defiance. You are forgotten. You may be King of England, but I am King of Liberty, declared Garfield as he took George III by the neck. Let go of my royal neck, you peasant man, yelled out King George III in protest. For crimes against humanity and lasagna, I judge you guilty, said Garfield with mighty justice as he tore King George III's head off. That's how Assassin's Creed ended, right?
Yes.
I was gonna say, is this the one with the twist that was mentioned?
I think that's the Mass Effect crossover.
I was gonna say, I hope this is secretly Assassin's Creed fanfiction. Just on top of all the Garfield stuff.
Shax210 says, I'm not fapping, but Odie is licking my balls.
Okay.
Looks like you have lost your head, said Garfield with coolness as he tossed King George III's body on Lady Liberty's torch. Ah! Cried out King George III as he burned in Lady Liberty's torch. Order of grilled king, quipped Garfield as he turned away. At King George III's fiery endings, remaining redcoat soldiers cried out in despair for the fallen leader. What will we do? Our king is gone, weeped English soldiers in sorrow. You must look forward to days of tomorrow. Your king was mad with power and blind with madness. Could not see the path of ruining and chaos. Lectured with calm wisdom, filling Englishmen with hope. Thank you, Garfield. You have filled us with the inspiration of a better tomorrow. We will rebuild our country of England in your honor, said the English soldiers with gratitude as they went home to England for rebuilding. In the distance, Garfield saw figures. It was George Washington, John Adams, and Ben Franklin coming for congratulations. Garfield, you have saved America, thank you, said John Adams, shaking Garfield's hand. Garfield, he just like... It's like everyone whose wife he fought is so happy. Garfield, you have taught me true meanings of manhood. Will you not stay and rule this country as first president? George Washington asked with begging. I am sorry, but desk jobs are for broken-down old man, not man in prime of virility, Garfield responded with declining. Very well, Garfield
responded with declining. It's so good. I love the way that this person words sentences.
Very well, Garfield, but at least enjoy Lincoln bedroom for personal enjoyment. Thank you. I think I know good uses for this, Garfield said with as he put his arms around Martha Washington and Abigail Adams.
Wow.
George Washington, John Adams, and Ben Franklin gave thumbs up as he walked to pleasuring. When Garfield entered Lincoln bedroom, Abigail Adams and Martha Washington sat next to him on both sides, eager for sexual satisfaction.
You guys, Ben Franklin would actually be pretty into that.
To it, but I do the Lincoln.
I'm surprised he's not watching.
Lincoln is bold.
Yeah, the Lincoln bedroom. It's so good. Oh man.
You have flowered my womanhood. Now I need you to water me with loving, said Martha Washington as she chewed on Garfield's ears. That's weird. Yes, Garfield, you have filled your love, and now it is ready to explode, said Abigail Adams as she brushed Garfield's hair with tenderness. No problem, my foxy first ladies. I may not be president, but I will be making you my secretaries of sexy. Garfield said as he climbed on Martha Washington and Abigail Adams for lovemakings. As Garfield began his patriotic duties, he heard some... Oh, this is the twist. As Garfield began his patriotic duties, he heard someone enter room. He turned around, and hot and eager, sexy woman was standing there. It was Lady Liberty. I have been hoping
So the Ghostbusters crossover?
said Lady Liberty with searing desire. I have another torch for you, but it may be too hot for you to handle, said Garfield with seduction as he took Lady Liberty into his love nest for maximal lady pleasing. Let our lovin' be so hot that it melts through earth, said Lady Liberty as she ran her hands on Garfield's manly body. With these words, Garfield and his Liberty ladies made love of passion that sparked skies like fireworks as they rubbed their bodies like sand on water.
Gross.
It's awful. Garfield delivered pleasure into their bodies like manly post office man delivering package of love action. Their love exploded like cannonball shots into night and went on for hours and days. The end?
I think we all learned some pretty serious lessons.
All right. Well, how come that's not in the history books, Phil? I think...
What happened to John Arbuckle? He was just like a summon that Garfield summoned?
Pretty much. He came in, he stunned the redcoats, and then Garfield took them all out with his fist of liberty. Were you not paying attention? All right, let me start over. Should I just start over?
Could you
Okay,
just
yeah,
go one more time from the top?
Well, first off, Garfield has a giant cock. No. This is amazing. This guy's page is seriously the most amazing thing.
And it's all, like, it's pretty much all Garfield story. Sometimes it's Garfield crossed over with other stuff.
Well, he does have bio. Want me to read that?
Yeah, we should probably read this bio.
Sure. Author has written 20 stories for Garfield, Batman, Gilmore Girls, Dexter, Street Fighter. Oh, Street Fighter. Saved by the Bell, Frasier, Mass Effect, Sex and the City, Red Dead Redemption, High School Musical, and King's Speech.
High School Musical. King's Speech fanfiction!